Namo Buddhaya, welcome back to Buddhism for Beginners YouTube channel. So boys and girls, we discussed in our previous episodes that we have different types of habits, etc., right? That we will bring from one life to the other. And so there's another thing called attachments. We do mistakes in our previous lives, and we make the same mistakes again and again. And same way, the people we have been associating in our previous lives, this could be our kids, our parents, our husbands and wives, etc. We can meet them again, and sometimes we meet them and we get their help, but there are other times that we because of them we get in trouble, we get into dangerous situations. And so also boys and girls, there's something very important that we need to remember. That is that we don't know what type of actions, like good actions we have done in our previous lives. Like we might have the fortune to associate noble friends and realize the Dhamma, understand this Dhamma. But sometimes when we don't think mindfully, when we make decisions based on our attachments, our desires towards certain things or certain people, we might lose that opportunity that's right in front of us. So today's story is about one upasaka who used to live in the city of Savatthi. So this upasaka, boys and girls, so he used to go to the Jeta's monastery on a regular basis to listen to the Dhamma from the Supreme Buddha. How lucky he was, right? So he get to see the Supreme Buddha. And then as he was going to listen to the Supreme Buddha, he developed a pleasant mind. He had these thoughts arising in him that I should go and ordain, I should enter this monkhood, because it's very serene. So somehow, so he was married, and so somehow he was able to convince his wife. His wife was hesitant at the beginning. She did not want him to get ordained, but this person was able to persuade his wife and received her permission. So he was very happily entered this monkhood. He ordained. So these monk boys and girls, he was dwelling at the Jetavanarama, the Anathapindika's monastery in city of Savatthi. There are so many monks residing in that monastery. So because of that, these newly ordained monks, they didn't receive that much of facilities, because it was filled with so many monks, right? Because in the monkhood, boys and girls, the senior monks will get the facilities first. That's how Supreme Buddha has advised. And even there are days that these newly ordained monks didn't get that much food. So what the old monk did was that he would take his alms bowl and go to his former wife, the wife from his lay life. So when he went to his wife's house, this wife would come towards him and venerate him, take the bowl and filled it with deliciously cooked food. So this was going on for some time, and this monk, boys and girls, because he was newly ordained, and then and he was having trouble at the monastery with food and other facilities, he slowly developed an attachment towards his wife once again. Now he had he had to do so much of convincing to his wife in order to become a monk. And now he's again getting attached to his wife. So, and then one day, boys and girls, this wife thought, maybe she got the vibe that this monk is, developing that attachment towards her. And then she thought to test him. She thought to test him out to see if he still loves this woman. So what she did was she brought some men from the village, and then gave them food, delicious food and everything, and asked them to live in the house. And so she even had a couple of bulls in front of the house. And then so one day this monk, as usual, he would come to this woman's house, and then she was at the very back making some sweets. And so this monk came in front of the house and stood there with his arms both. And one of those men that was staying at the house, he went to the back of the house and said to this lady, "Oh, madam, there's a monk standing in front of the house." And then this lady said, "Oh, so please go and venerate, worship this monk and tell him that we don't have any food." So this man, he came back to where the monk was standing and conveyed the message. But this monk didn't seem to be, moving, going away. So this man went back again to the back of the house and said, "Madam, I did tell the monk that he's not getting any food, but he didn't seem to, go away." And this wife, she got up from, where she was and came to the front of the house to see who he was. And then that was her former husband, the monk. So then this lady came to the front of the house, venerated the monk, and invited him inside and offered alms. But then she started to complain, saying things such as, "Oh, Bande, you have gone forth and ordained, you might even be able to realize the Four Noble Truths and attain Parinibbana in this city of Savatthi. But what's going to happen to me? I'm all alone. I've been abandoned, and I didn't even get married to anyone after you left. What's going to happen to me? I'm not going to live in this city for that long. I'm going to get married to another man and go out of this city," saying all these nonsense. This old monk, boys and girls, because he has already developed an attachment towards her, even more than what he had before he got ordained, he got so upset. His eyes were wide open, and then tears were coming from his eyes, and then he was he was very upset, and then he was crying and telling this woman, "Oh, no, don't do such a thing. I'm not going to let you do that. You don't need to go out of this city. You don't have to get married to another man. I will come back and live with you. I'm going to go back to the monastery and let them know that I'm going to disrobe. Please give me some clothes to wear. I will go and hand over all these the robes and the bowl, and then I will come back." So after telling this to his wife, his former wife, this monk went to the teacher, the monk who ordained him. And then so when this his teacher heard it, he was so disappointed, right? Because this monk has received such a great opportunity, but he's not seeing it. He's not mindful about it. So what they did was, without his permission, this monk's permission, they took him to see the Supreme Buddha. And then so they explained what has happened to this monk, and then boys and girls, the Supreme Buddha said, "Dear bhikkhus, this is not the first time that this person got fooled by this woman. Even in a previous life, same thing happened. She fooled him, and he was killed by a hunter because of that foolish woman." And then Supreme Buddha revealed the story. So some time ago, in a country called Magadha and in a city called Rajagaha, there lived a king. So during this time, boys and girls, during the harvesting time, we talked about the same thing before in one of our previous stories. During the harvest time, the deers were killed because the deers would go to the paddy fields to eat the crops, so the people didn't like it. So what they did was they would hunt these deers down. So the same thing was happening, and what these deers did was they never came out of the forest to the villages, right? Because they know that they will get killed. But among those groups of deers living in the forest, there was one foolish deer. So, as he was going to the, closer to the village, he got friendly with a doe that was already living in the village, like closer to the village area. And then, so, this relationship, it was very strong, and this deer, he really liked this doe, and he got very attached to this doe. And then, sometimes like she would even say to this deer from the forest, don't come closer to the village, because these people, they are the hunters, they are going to kill you, so don't come. But because of the attachment this deer had towards this doe, he wouldn't listen. So every day he would come to the village to see this doe. So what happened was, this the doe who was living in the village, she knows, she can sense the humans. So she knows where the humans are hiding, right? Because she's used to humans. But the other deer from the forest, he has no clue. Because he's very foolish, because he used to live in the forest. So anyways, one day, the deer from the forest came to see the doe, and then as they were walking towards the woods, the doe sensed that, the hunters are there to catch us. So what she did was, boys and girls, she told that deer to go in front of her, and this foolish deer listened to this woman, the doe, and then he took the lead. And you know what happened? The hunters were able to kill him with just one arrow, and the doe ran away like at the speed of a lightning. She didn't stay to watch what was happening. So this the poor deer, he was killed and burnt by these hunters to eat. Right? And boys and girls, on a close by tree, there lived a tree god, which was our Bodhisattva. So our Bodhisattva saw everything, what had happened to this, the deer. And then the tree god made a statement saying, this deer did not die because of his father. He did not die because of his mother. He died because of his foolishness. After listening to this story from the Supreme Buddha, his own story from the Supreme Buddha, the bhikkhu who had attachments towards his former wife, he was very embarrassed, boys and girls. He was embarrassed of his own defilements, his own faults. And then he was able to get rid of his attachment towards this woman, and after listening to the Dhamma, he was able to attain stream entry, which is the first fruit of Nibbana. And then the Supreme Buddha said to the bhikkhus, so the deer who used to come down to the village from the forest and got killed, that is none other than this bhikkhu. And the doe who fooled him is his wife, in that previous life. And then, boys and girls, the Supreme Buddha said, the foolish deer who came down from the forest to see the doe, that was none other than this bhikkhu. And this wife was the doe in that previous life. So the deity, the tree deity, that was myself. So see, boys and girls, just like I reminded at the very beginning, we might be bringing so much merit from previous lives, but because we cannot think mindfully, and we cannot think wisely, we might make mistakes and get into trouble. When we talked about attachments, it could be even our parents, our teachers, our friends, our relatives. But if you know Dhamma, if you know what's right and what's wrong, and if you can think according to the Dhamma, we might not get into those traps. So remember, even you might be able to realize the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. It's just that we need to be mindful. We need to develop wisdom and associate noble friends. May you all be well and happy. May the Triple Gem bless you. Namo Buddhaya.